Namaste. My name is JVN Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences. I am teaching you subjects food industry unit operation in food industry for class BSc FST second semester and BTech FPT second semester. In previous session, we will discuss all about the mixing, in which we will discuss about the what is mixing, what are the advantages and disadvantages of mixing, and different types of mixers. And in today's session, we will discuss about the kneading and the blending. These are the two unit operation performed in the unit in the food industries. So let's start with the topic. So begins with the topic kneading. Okay, so kneading is a process of working a dough mixture to form a smooth and cohesive mass, and it can be done by hand or mechanically. Proper kneading is essential for the formation of dough with adequate viscoelastic properties, including the gas retention capacity, and breads with the fine grain texture. Okay, and crumb. Okay, so what is the origin of the kneading? It can be said that kneading is as old as the baking process itself. Okay, so the dough cannot attain good functional properties unless the required ingredients are brought together and resulting into a lumpy mass needed to form a uniform dough that is suitable for the bread making. Okay, so the different ways to knead the dough, and there are two ways to knead the bread dough, that is the hand kneading. It takes 10 to 30 minutes to reach the optimal gluten matrix by repeatedly folding and stretching back the dough, and dusting flour can be added to keep the dough from sticking. However, adding too much will dry out the dough and make it stiff. Okay, then next is the mechanical kneading, and it takes 8 to 12 minutes and is most efficient way to knead the flour doughs, and it uses a mixer hook attachment set at a proper speed, that is in the RPM. Adequacy of kneading is determined using a traditional gluten film test. Okay, so kneading is the third of the five main stage of the dough mixing. And in the baking industry, mixing refers to a series of stages that are responsible for transforming flour into dough, including the ingredient incorporation, that is the mixing of wheat flour, water, along with the yeast, salt, sugar, and other ingredients. For bread making, basically, we will activate the yeast uh, prior to mixing with the whole wheat flour. Okay, for the activation of yeast, we are basically mix the yeast with some salt, some sugar, and some wheat flour. Okay, then it will activate, and then we are added into the wheat flour. Okay, next is the hydration of dry ingredients. That is the water absorption by the flour's functional components, that is the protein, starch, and pentosans, leads to the gluten development and subsequent plasticization, and it will provide the texture to the dough. Okay, then next is the kneading. Kneading is the development of the gluten strands that gradually form the protein structure or the matrix due to the gliadin and glutenin. These both are the proteins collectively known as gluten and binding together. Okay, then after there is a fourth step that is known as dough aeration, and it is the incorporation of air into the dough in the form of gas bubbles and subdivision of the existing air cells. Okay, then dough temperature. During mechanical kneading, significant friction between the dough and the bowl occur, leading to a slight warming up of the dough. Okay, next is the dough development into a smooth mass is highly dependent on the kneading mode and its duration. Okay, by applying a combination of strain, shear, and compression, a proper balance in dough properties such as tenacity, elasticity, extensibility, and stickiness can be achieved. Extensibility, that is the ability of dough to be stretched as the gas pressure from the yeast, fermentation builds up. And optimal dough should have good extensibility and minimal elasticity. An extensible dough is one that can be pulled into the different shapes. Next is the elasticity. Elasticity is the ability of dough to spring back when it is stretched, and this refers to the degree to which a dough piece will attempt to regain its original shape after any deforming force has been removed. Okay, so next is the tenacity. It is also determined as the strength, and it is the ability of a dough to resist stretching or elongation forces. A dough with too much tenacity is difficult to machine during molding and will not expand as much as during proofing. Okay. Next application is the stickiness, and stickiness is the ability of the dough to stick to the surfaces. Okay, and this property is often undesirable since it is responsible for makeup issues and may require more dusting flour when hydration levels cannot be reduced due to the process economics. Typically, doughs made with whole wheat flours and require less kneading due to their low gluten content. Then there are the quality issues related to the under kneading and the over kneading. For when under kneading is done, there is a slack and sticky dough is formed, and dough is also known as underdeveloped. Okay. Next is the proofing will be slower, presumably due to lower than the optimal dough temperature. And baked product will have low volume and dense and firm internal structure. And baked product with the sharp edges, there is a too much pan flow in the white pan bread, and loaves will flatten out rather than wake up with a high and the round shape. Okay, so that is a detrimental in hearth bread. Next is the over kneading, and dough will be too stiff, that means elastic, leading to the erratic scaling, and poor molding is occur when there is a over kneading of the dough. Okay. Next is the proofing will be faster, presumably due to higher than optimal dough temperature. Okay. Next is the baked product with round corners, that is poor pan flow in the white pan bread, and internal structure of the baked goods will be dense and the firm. Okay. The dough kneading is also done for the chapatis which were made in the home, and at home basically we are doing the kneading by hand or manually, and in which also it is presumed that as much we will knead the dough, the softer will be the chapatis will formed. Okay. uh, from this session, many questions will be asked in your final exams. For example, what is kneading? Explain the difference between the over kneading and under kneading of the dough. Likewise, question will be asked in your final exam. So prepare accordingly. Now, next topic is blending, which is another type of unit operation. Okay. So what is blending is, blending is a process of combining materials, but blending is a relatively gentle process compared to the mixing. And in terms of the phase of material, blending is a process of solid-solid mixing, or the mixing of the bulk solids with small quantity of the liquids. And the terminology mixing is more closely associated with the liquid-liquid, gas liquid, and viscous materials. Okay, so the mixing is a unit operation in which a uniform mixture is obtained from one or more components by dispersing one within the other. Hence, it is a process which involves manipulating a heterogeneous physical system with the intent to make it more homogeneous. And mixing and blending are the terms that are specific meanings in the food industry. And most food processing experts use the word mixing to describe the process of combining the wet and the dry materials together. Okay. And blending is the term which is used to describe the process of combining only the dry ingredients. Okay. So this is the difference between the mixing and the blending. Then what is the principle of blenders? Blender are versatile appliances that have a variety of uses in the home and business and the laboratory. And the main function in home and the bar use is here toward the crushing. Okay, crushing the ice. Then blenders also liquefy and emulsify softer food ingredients such as the fruit and the yogurt which results in the thick consistency and the smooth texture. Okay. Then blenders are the mixtures for solid-solid blending, considering the myriad of industrial operations requiring blending of bulk solids. And there is a wide range of blender technologies available. And depending on the principal mechanism of mixing, and blenders are classified to follows. First is the tumbler blender, that is the double cone blender, V blenders, octagonal blender, and connective blender is the ribbon blender, paddle blender, vertical screw blender, and fluidization blenders and mixers are the Plough mixer, double paddle mixer, and Forberg mixer. Okay. Next is the tumbler mixer. Okay. The tumble blender is rotating device that commonly comes in the double cone or the V-shaped configuration. Asymmetric vessel designed to reduce blend times and improve the uniformity are also available. And generally, tumble blenders operate at a speed of 5 to 25 revolutions per minute, and materials cascade and intermix as the vessel rotates. And mixing is very low impact. And this is the tumbler blender, which is shown in this figure. Okay. Next is the convective blender. So under blending, convective mixing is done, and it is done by the ribbon blenders, Forberg blender, orbiting screw blender, planetary blenders, and vertical high intensity mixtures, horizontal double arm blender, diffusion mixtures with intensifier agitator, and horizontal mixtures. Next type is the fluidization blenders. Fluidization blenders is the newest and the most innovative addition to the industry's most comprehensive line of mixing equipment. And this mixer provides the perfect balance of mixing of speed and efficiency with low equipment cost and consume the power. Okay, so it eliminates the roll apart segregation caused by the gravity and when mixing ingredients of greatly varying density, shape, and size or by fluidizing. Okay, so fluidization is achieved by a combination of a defined geometry lifting action with a triple paddle, multi-zone, and rotor turning about 80% faster than a traditional ribbon blender. Okay, so what are the benefits of fluidization blenders? It increases the production capacity up to 10 times the throughput versus ribbon blenders. It has low shear design, extremely gentle with fragile ingredients, minimal heat generated due to internal friction, and high particle movement, fast even liquid addition and coating, and ideal for agglomerating. Okay, and no over mixing. Innovating technology is there, ideal for manual and automated systems. High efficiency design, fluidization assures homogeneous mixes independent of large range of particle size, shape, or density, and 30 to 60-second mix times typically it requires, and low consumed power and horsepower per ton. Okay, so from this session, from blending session, various questions will ask, explain the blending with different types of blenders and what is the importance of blending. Likewise, questions will be asked from this session. Hope it is clear to all. Thank you so much for watching this session or video.